So let us continue the discussion. We were talking about mixing of pineapple juice and orange juice. So when you mix pineapple juice and orange juice, definitely it will not taste like melon juice, isn't it? So the more is the concentration or amount of pineapple juice, the taste will be more towards pineapple and less of orange. Exactly same way we have different types of hybridization by mixing different types of orbitals. Now as you can see here, we have done the classification of hybridization. They are sp, sp2, sp3, sp3d, sp3d2 or d2 sp3. Now let us try to understand each type. One thing you have to remember, the names of the orbitals are always represented by small letters. So when you read sp, you should be small letter s and small letter p. So sp means you are mixing s orbital with one of the p orbitals. As you know, there are three p orbitals, px, py and pz. But you are out of these three, only one is taking part in mixing. So that is sp hybridization. Similarly, you can understand what could be sp2. It means s orbital is mixed with two of the p orbitals, maybe px and py, or maybe py and pz, whatever, any two of them. And thirdly, we have sp3, which means s orbital is mixed with three of the p orbitals. sp3d means one s, three of the p's, and out of 5 d's, only one d orbital is mixing. Then we have sp3d2. sp3d2 means s orbital mixed with 3 of the p orbitals and 2 of the d orbitals. You may see here I have also written d2sp3. Now what is the difference between the two? sp3d2 and d2sp3. The number of orbitals are same. Total number is 6, as you can see. sp3d2 means s orbital, p orbital and d orbital, they all belong to the same shell. Say we have d orbital only from third shell. In the second shell we do not have d orbital. So if I mix 3s with 3px, 3py and 3pz and two of the d orbitals, any of the two, maybe dxy, dyz, all belonging to the same shell, then it is sp3d2. And you have seen when you read the electronic configuration of potassium, you may have noticed that after filling of 3p orbitals, electron don't go to 3d. It goes to 4s because 4s is having little lesser energy than 3d. So, however, 4s and 3d energies are comparable. So, it is possible that 3d orbital can mix with 4s and 4p. When the d orbital belong to the second last shell and s and p belong to the last shell, then such hybridizations are called d2sp3. Now as you can understand, these hybrid orbitals, they orient themselves in such a way so that they suffer minimum repulsion. So we have mixed s and p. When we have mixed s and p, how many orbitals we have mixed? We have mixed only 2. So how many orbitals should form? Only 2 orbitals should form. Now what is the possible arrangement of 2 orbitals in 2 dimension? You can understand, if you have 2 pencils, how can you arrange them so that they are at maximum distance from each other? They can be placed opposite to each other and we call the shape linear. Similarly, if you have sp2, that means you have total how many? 3. 3 orbitals. How can you arrange them? You think 3 orbitals, suppose the total angle is 360 degrees. As you can see here, the total angle is 360. You are dividing them into 3 parts. So 360 divided by 3 will be how much? 360 divided by 3 will be 120. That means 3 of the orbitals will arrange themselves at an angle of 120 degree, and if you join the vertices of these 3 points, it will give the shape of a triangle. So sp2 hybridization leads to trigonal planar geometry. Now when it comes to sp3 can understand that s orbital is mixed with 3 of the p orbitals. Now what are the p orbitals? Px, py and pz, all are mixed. So when all are mixed, what happens? You are using all 3 dimensions. You are using all 3 dimensions. That means x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. That means now your 4 orbitals will have the liberty to occupy the entire 3-dimensional space, and that's why you cannot divide the 360-degree angle into 4 parts, which will give you 90 degrees. Okay, so here you have used entire 3 dimension, and that's why the bond angles will not be 90 degree to make it 360 degree in total. Since the entire 3-dimensional space is available to them, they will orient themselves at an angle of 109 degree 28 minutes, and the shape is known as tetrahedron. Next we have sp3d. That means you have 3-dimensional arrangement because you have used px, py and pz, all the 3 dimensions, and one of the d orbitals. So here the shape will be such a way that 3 of the orbitals will be in the form of a triangle, just like sp2, and 2 of the orbitals will be one above the trigonal plane and another below the trigonal plane. We'll draw the diagrams, and you have already taken down the diagrams, you must have seen. This shape is called trigonal bipyramidal. Why is it called trigonal bipyramidal? Because if you join the corners of the triangle with the one which is above the plane, it will give rise to a shape of a pyramid. It will give the shape of a pyramid, and 2 pyramids above and below the plane. That's why we call it bipyramid. So in short, we call it TBP, trigonal bipyramidal. Then we have sp3d2 or d2sp3. The shape will be same. You can see here total number of orbitals used here are 6. 1 s, 3 of the p's and 2 of the d's. Total makes it 6. Now how these 6 orbitals will arrange themselves? Out of 6, 4 of them will arrange themselves in the shape of a square, and remaining 2, one will be above and another will be below the plane. And if you join the corners of the square with the ones which are above and below the plane, it will give rise to an octahedron. Octa means 8, hedron means hands. It will have 8 hands. Okay, I wish I could visualize you. Now let's try to understand the diagrams one by one. Now here we are going to do the steps. You have seen all these things are explained well, nicely explained in that video before. Now we shall take up the during examination, how should you go about it? So we'll take the first example, first category, sp hybridization. There are various molecules available under this category. I've given you a few: VeCl2, BeH2, BeF2. Now the first step is you have to identify the central atom. So as you can see here, the central atom out here is, if I take the first example, the central atom out here is beryllium. Now your next step is to write the electronic configuration of the central atom. So when you write the electronic configuration of the central atom, you notice it is having 4, atomic number is 4. So it is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p0. So how many valence electron does it have? It has 2 valence electrons. The valence electron means the electrons in the last shell. You can see the last shell is 2 and it is having 2 electrons here. So valence electrons are 2 in number. How many bonds it is forming? Since the formula is BeCl2, so you can understand it is forming bond with 2 chlorines. So 2 electrons are there and both the electrons are used up in forming a bond with chlorine. Now when we draw the Lewis dot structure, very important. When you draw the Lewis dot structure, you can see these are the electrons of beryllium and these are the electrons of chlorine. Now how many electrons are required by chlorine? Since chlorine is having 7 valence electrons, it requires only 1 to share. So beryllium shares 1 electron with chlorine, and therefore we have 2 electron pairs around beryllium. How 2 electron pairs? One pair is here, another pair is here. Now you can understand each pair will require 1 orbital. So altogether how many orbitals are needed? We require 2 orbitals. So from where we get 2 orbitals? By mixing which 2 orbitals will get 2 hybrid orbitals? By mixing s orbital and one of the p orbitals. So therefore the hybridization will be sp. So this step 3 is very important. You can see the way we have written here. Since there are 2 pairs of electron around beryllium, beryllium is sp hybridized, or beryllium will undergo sp hybridization. So if this step is not clear to you, you cannot go ahead with the remaining steps. Now let us follow the steps. I have written here ground state configuration of beryllium, as you can see here. You can see here I have written 2s and 2p orbitals in the form of boxes. We have represented the orbitals. And you may notice here I have maintained an energy gap between 2s and 2p. I did not draw them at the same level. Here we are representing the energy gap between the two orbitals, the energy difference. Now you can see, since two electrons are in the same shell, it is not capable of taking part in bond formation because paired electrons don't take part in bond formation. So how beryllium will be able to form a bond? For that, one electron needs to be promoted to the higher orbitals. You can see here I have promoted one electron to the higher orbital, and you please check the nature of arrow we have used. The arrow should be like this, okay, half arrow. This arrow is called fish hook arrow. When you go for fishing, the hook is attached to the fishing hook, fishing string. So that kind of arrow which shows movement of one electron. If you draw an arrow like this, it shows movement of two electrons. So here we use this arrow. So one electron from 2s is getting excited and getting promoted to 2p, and at this juncture the orbitals come to the same energy level. So you can see the level is same. Okay. So these small things you please take care while showing the steps for hybridization. Now I put by dotted lines, I show the orbitals which is undergoing mixing. You can see the dots I have drawn in such a way in the diagram in the book, in your notes. S orbital is undergoing mixing with one of the p orbitals. So I have drawn only one box inside the dotted line. So here we write sp hybridization. Now as you know, each of the orbitals will have neither the shape of s nor the shape of p. Each orbital looks like this. Each orbital looks like this. One smaller lobe and one bigger lobe. You can see the video which I have shown you earlier, I have sent you earlier. And now the two orbitals, how do they arrange themselves? They arrange themselves in the linear manner. You can see they are at an angle of 180 degree. And these small lobes usually we do not show when the diagram becomes very complicated. Now after you have drawn the arrangement of the orbitals, now you have to distribute these electrons. You have total 2 electrons. The distribution should take place according to Hund's rule. One electron here, one electron here. Both the electrons will not be going to one of the orbitals. Okay. Because you know, according to Hund's rule, when the energy of the orbitals are same, the electrons distribute themselves singly and then they pair up. So after beryllium has, we have drawn the orbital arrangement of beryllium. Now you have to see with which element it is forming a bond. Since we have taken the example of BeCl2, so it will be the orbitals of chlorine which will be involved in overlapping. So we know that if you write the electronic configuration of chlorine, you know that it is the, I think, what did I draw? Okay, electronic configuration of chlorine we have written number of times. So you know that electronic configuration of chlorine is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3px2, 3py2 and 3pz1. So it is the 3pz orbital of chlorine which is capable of taking part in overlapping. So here you can see we have shown the overlapping of the chlorine p orbitals, and here you may notice that these p orbitals, though they have two lobes, but the two lobes are more or less of similar size. Of course the other lobe is slightly smaller. We are not so fussy about this shape, this orbitals, but here you have to be very careful. Okay, one lobe should be smaller, one lobe should be bigger, and the electron of the chlorine comes with opposite spin and overlaps, and here the bond forms at the point of overlapping, and this bond is called PsP sigma bond. Why do you call it PsP sigma bond? Because it is the p orbital of chlorine and sp hybrid orbital of beryllium forming a strong bond, sigma bond. So it is PsP sigma bond. There are two such PsP sigma bonds at an angle of 180 degree, and the name of the shape is linear. Now the question is, if you mix one glass of orange juice and one glass of pineapple juice, the taste will be 50-50, isn't it? So here you have used one s orbital and one p orbital. S orbital has a shape spherical, p orbital has a shape dumbbell. So the new orbitals which will form, it will have 50% s character and 50% p character. Mathematically, how do you calculate? Mathematically, you can calculate like this. Percentage means 100, isn't it? And you are dividing between two orbitals. So 100 divided by 2. How much do you get? 50, isn't it? So each of the orbitals will have 50-50 contribution. So that's all about sp hybridization.